Hello everyone, good evening. As always, we'll get started in a little bit. See y'all then. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and go to my Zatsu screen first. Oh wait, is my model acting up again? Just move the mic. Test, 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 test. Okay, cool. It looks like we're working. We're shworking. So how's everyone doing? I'm pretty eepy today, or not eepy, but I went Christmas shopping today. And that took quite a bit out, so this might be a bit of a short stream once we do some tarot readings and chat a bit. I was also experimenting with the idea of possibly doing a little bit of crochet on stream. I'm not super experienced with crochet, but I don't know, I've just been thinking about it. I think it's because I watched Magic Mire's streams. Let me pause. I've been watching Magic Mire's streams, and I noticed that like while they wait for people to file in, she does a little bit of crocheting. So I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I have been working on something for Christmas, so I feel like I might as well. But actually, let me set up for it. Mire, I was just talking about you. Because I was thinking about, I have like some crochet stuff that I gotta do for Christmas, and I'm like, since I'm waiting for people to file in, maybe I should, maybe I should work on that right now. But the thing is, I'm not a crochet expert. I don't know how to do it like independently yet. So I'm gonna be like referring to a pattern the entire time. Or rather, like, I'm gonna be pausing a lot to like count. So if that's okay with folks, I might do that. While I wait for folks to come on in. But how you doing, Mire? Let me get this. Okay, cool. That looks like it's up. Wow. The lights are on. Let me just adjust this. My audio is a little low. Okay, let me... You can barely hear? Okay, okay. Let me check. Let me put my levels a little bit up. Ba. Can you hear me? Let me know if the levels are okay, if I should adjust. Better? Cool. Okay. I think it's also because I'm talking a little low too. So, yeah. I was thinking. So, I am planning on doing a couple of readings today. Hello, Matthew. Oh, I don't have any water. I did just have some whatchamacallit, some matcha. So I will hydrate in a little bit. But yeah. Hello. How are y'all doing? Oh, hello. So yeah, what was I saying? You can see my mouse. Hehe. Yeah, howdy. How are y'all doing? So today, I streamed in the morning. I did the hieroglyph studying, right? Raided into Randon, watched him for a bit, and then Beans and I went Christmas shopping. And that was kind of exhausting. For one, the parking took a while. I could talk about this a little bit later as well, but like it was exhausting, and then I felt my energy just go down. We talked about the beans. We did about the sussiness of Egyptian mythology, right? But yeah. So, I want to show you guys something. I didn't finish my Christmas shopping. Ran out of spoons. Yeah, that's the terminology for that, right? I kind of ran out of spoons, so, or just energy, right? So, that got me into thinking about like what I should be getting folks for Christmas, like my family members and stuff. And I have a goddaughter. Yeah, I have a goddaughter, and I know that she likes Peppa Pig, and I've been making a pig with crochet. So here's that. It doesn't look like a pig yet, right? Even though I made this, I don't want you guys to think that I like knew how to make this just like off the dome, you know? I actually used, I threw it away, but I used a service called Woobles. Yeah, crochet. I use a service called Woobles. Oh, the light is so bright. Let me change it. Maybe the blue? The orb. Hello. Need more mana? Gotta eat your enemies to absorb the... Hi, Cliff Puncher. Welcome. The orb. Yeah, for now it's just an orb, but eventually it will be a pig. So I was like, oh, maybe I should crochet while I wait for folks to file on in. But there also seems to be a good amount of folks in here. Is it weird that you're the first person I know that reads and does crochet? So I was partially inspired by you, Mire. I saw that on your stream you both crochet and you do reading. Second, yeah, other than yourself, right? Pig orb, a porb. Yes, exactly. I've been crocheting since 2021, I want to say, but like I don't know how to do it by myself. Like I still have to use this service. It's called Woobles. And actually, I should cover the password, but it's a service that lets you learn how to crochet. But it's mostly just what's called amigurumis, which are these little dudes, you know? So that's how I've been doing it. I'm not skilled enough yet, or I'm not knowledgeable yet to be able to be like, to make an orb, you simply need to do this many, increased stitches, I still follow a guide. I was thinking about doing that during my off time, or while I'm waiting for people to file on in. But what I'm gonna do, before I jump into that, is if any of you are interested in some tarot readings, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the queue. And for today, because I'm a little low energy, I'm only gonna be limiting it to five readings, and I'm gonna be limiting it as usual, to just like one card readings. But if anyone's interested, let me know. Or rather, instead of let me know, just ooh, I have a new chat command for this. So type join, exclamation point join to join the queue for a tarot reading. You can only request one per stream and be patient, respectful as I get to you. If the queue's closed or full, don't ask me to reopen it. So those are pretty much the rules. I do exceptions, you know, occasionally, but otherwise I do want to put some boundaries just because, like I said, I'm a little low energy today. So we might want to keep it short, but that's only if y'all are down. Otherwise, we can also just chat. That's totally fine too. Cause yeah, have y'all done your Christmas shopping yet? Christmas is a week away. Oh my god, the meme. Christmas only a week away. Actually, yeah, we can do the meme where is that one a video of the person being like, "Wow, Christmas only a week away." Is it this one? Do we have to pick a category or anything for tarot? No, not necessarily. If you just if you type exclamation point join, I will give you a one card reading. That's all I have energy for right now. But thanks for joining the queue, Mire. Thank you. But yeah, in terms of category, yeah, thank you, Cliff Puncher. So I'm just gonna give like a very general reading. You can take that as you will, and you can also ask clarifying questions. I'm not so much of a drill sergeant that it's like, no questions. That's your card, that's your reading, and that's it. You know? So, yeah. Alright, so we got some people in the queue. Awesome possum. And I'll also, like, you're free to ask questions. You're also free to, you know, elaborate in the chat on like what it is that is on your mind with the reading, like whether you're thinking about your finances, your relationships, that kind of thing. Give me a second, actually. Sorry about that. All right, so first thing I actually want to do is I want to play the meme. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but the Christmas just a week away. Let's see if it plays through. Oh, it's a TikTok.
Can you believe it, guys? Christmas just a week away. Christmas is in a week. Woohoo! I am so happy about this information. Christmas just a week away.
Just a week away.
Can you believe it? Christmas just in a week. It got here so fast. Christmas just
a week away. That's really how I'm feeling right now. Like, oh god, I didn't prepare. But yeah, you know what? Let's go on into some tarot card readings while we're at it. So first, let's do Magic Mire. Oh, and the deck that we're going to be using today is the same deck that we've been using. This is the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshi Yoshitani. What I like about this one is that it is a mix of tarot as well as folklore and mythology and religion from all over the world. So you get kind of a twofold reading from that. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and shuffle. Like I said, this is going to be just a one-card reading. We'll help each other along with the interpretations and whatnot, because I am still kind of an amateur with everything. I know, Mire, you you are definitely super experienced with tarot. I've dropped by like just a couple of your streams, and I've seen your Twitter as well. I know you were asking for advice on a reading that you had. I didn't get a chance to really like look at the cards yet, but hopefully someone has given feedback by now. If anything, I can also take a glance at it myself, but like I said, I'm still a beginner. So I don't know if my feedback will be helpful, but I'm always down. I'm always down. So let's go ahead and do a reading for Magic Mire. Let me continue shuffling though and randomizing. And yeah, Mire, I know that you're definitely familiar with tarot, but Cliff Puncher, how familiar are you with tarot? Just out of curiosity. If you've stepped away until it's time for you to get your reading, no worries, but I was just curious. I was a little lightheaded when you drew them. Oh man, I hope I hope you're feeling better. I hope that you've been able to get some rest since then. I could take a look at it if you want. That'll be after Cliff Puncher's reading. This song sounds like you guys can hear the chill hop, right? It reminds me of I was fine before I met you. What was that one called? You'd appreciate it, but no worries. Yeah, we'll do it after Cliff Punchers. I'm a little familiar, but more amateur than you, I'm sure. Yeah, sure. Do you know about stuff like the major arcana, the minor arcana, the different suits, that kind of thing? Because I don't mind explaining it at all. Totally fine. My experience is mostly doing fake BS readings for NPCs in my Pathfinder campaign. Whoa, that sounds cool, though. That sounds really cool. Let me flip the deck a little. But it sounds like, yeah, that you're like somewhat familiar, so cool. Okay. Let's draw a card for Magic Mire. Let's do this one. I've been invested in 2 years now. It's been my staple for quite some time. I guess I'm continually learning ever since. That's good. That's real good. Because, yeah, that's what I've been, like, seeing with, like, learning tarot is that, like, it's always a learning experience, you know? Like, there's always new interpretations or new ways to kind of read the cards. And then Cliff Puncher, you said, I really, really like playing that character, but yeah, explanations would be helpful. Yeah, you got it. You got it. So, here's the card for Magic Mire. And we have the Seven of Swords. Let me go ahead and give you a closer look at that one. This one I've drawn before. I remember I've drawn it before, and I do believe that it's based off of like either Native American or indigenous lore. The Seven of Swords, though, I believe, is this the one that like the traditional imagery is associated with? Is it the guy dropping all the swords? That's cool art. Yeah. So this whole deck has amazing art. Oh yeah, and remind me though that this was drawn in reverse, so we'll also talk about that. But for those that are unfamiliar with tarot, it has different suits. It has the major arcana, and then it has the minor arcana, which is divided into 4 suits. This is the Seven of Swords. Swords has to do with I always say like intellect, but let me check my notes. It's like intellect, but also kind of like ambitions. Let me see my list here. The mind, ego, society, politics, conflicts, etc. Swords is also associated with air. It has some pretty intense interpretations, though. The Seven of Swords. If we look at the imagery, we're seeing either a coyote or some kind of, you know, fox or wolf with daggers. They look like flint daggers in its mouth, and then it's dropping some of them as it's like running away from a shadow in the distance, right? And then even more in the distance, we're seeing the smoke signal. So it could be you know, the coyote's back is turned to that, but it could be heading, as you can see, it's kind of heading down what looks like a hill or a mountain. It could be heading towards that smoke signal, so maybe that one way to interpret this is that, like, you know, the coyote could be you. You're heading down the hill towards a signal, but something has startled you, or something is a cause for concern. However, what I'm noticing is that, like, what we're seeing is the shadow. What the coyote is seeing is probably the actual thing causing the shadow, but what's also interesting is that if you look at the imagery, also, I don't know why my camera quality is like this right now. Why are you doing this? Let me try and fix that real quick. Video. Did that help? Oh, that made it weird. Okay. What if I do... Oh my god, I fucked it. Let's see, can I play around with the... No, we'll just keep it like this. If you look really closely at the shadow that's being casted, it's not actually coming from something in front of the fox. It's coming, or the coyote. It's coming from the coyote itself. So it's almost as if like it's the coyote's own self-doubts that it's really afraid of rather than something that's actually there. Almost one of those like it's all in your head type things. And as you notice, it's so startled that it's dropping these flint knives, right? So something has startled the coyote. Hello, Gudaketta. Hello. Thanks for joining the queue. But yeah, it startled it so much that it's dropping these symbols of the mind, the ego, as it's running off. I'm trying to remember the traditional imagery of this. I think it's the one with the guy that is stealing the swords, right? Yeah, it's okay. So the traditional imagery of this one is it's the right Seven of Swords. I'm sorry, I'm like so familiar with like the memes about it. Yeah, there's like a funny meme about it. Yeah, Rider-Waite Smith. I keep saying traditional, but I mean Rider-Waite Smith. Yeah, where it's the guy just like he's almost sneaking off in the night, right, with these swords. I've seen the memes of like me after a drunken night. You know, I like that the coyote is casting the shadow from its left paw only. Oh, that's another really cool thing to notice, right? It's not even like fully casting a shadow from itself. It's just from its paw. It's just from the one that's like on the earth itself. So you can interpret that as you will, right? The way that I've been interpreting it is like it's like you're afraid of something that's not really there, so it could be all in your head. But this is, I know that the traditional meaning then is like deceit, right? Or getting something through dishonest means or some kind of dishonesty, right? The thing though is that we got this in reverse. So usually, or like the way that I've seen it is like if the usual imagery or the usual interpretation is negative, then you know the reverse can also be positive, though it could also just be like double negative. So if the right side up meaning has to do with deceit, dishonesty, then maybe reverse, it's more towards integrity, honesty, doing things like the right way, quote unquote, right? What do I have here in my notes? Holding one's to ideals in a dangerous or dishonest way, but interesting. So I have here on my notes, I've been taking notes recently and doing my research on the cards. What I have here is imposter syndrome. Feeling like a thief or some kind of criminal when you're doing honest work. And then if you are perhaps doing something dishonestly, perhaps it's the anxiety of being found out, right? So those are some of the notes that I remember taking. Let me analyze a little bit more, and then we'll also go to the booklet that this deck comes with. Because yeah, I'm viewing this as like I said, if this is negative, this is positive. This is like that you're doing something good, but there's still a bit of negativity to it, that maybe you feel like you're a thief in the night when you shouldn't be feeling like that. Well, that said, what's interesting too is that like the figure here is the coyote, or it looks like a coyote. I'm kind of just assuming, which is traditionally in a lot of lore associated with like trickery. But like, you know, in the animal kingdom, are animals like, I don't know, should we be using like human words to describe animals of like, oh, they're tricksters, they're bad, they're evil, they're good, when really all they're doing is they're acting on their instincts and they're trying to feed themselves or making sure that they survive long enough to pass on their genes, right? So so like the way that you can interpret that is that like we interpret the coyote as like tricky and evil and blah blah blah, but the coyote's just trying to live its life, man. It's just trying to do its best. I actually wanted to be a full-fledged witch, but family speculations make it hard for me. Ah, that's real. That's real. Like, especially when you talk, not even just family, but like the general populace. When you use the term like witch, or when you use the term that you're like working with magic, you know, or you're doing readings, there's a lot of speculation. Sometimes people are open-minded about it and they're like, oh, that's cool, like tell me more about that. But because of how witch and like magic have been used in like media, in like, you know, history, etc., it's very like, what do you mean by that? Like, are you worshiping Satan? Are you doing this and that? When it really could just be a journey of like self-exploration, you know? So let's go ahead and... So I feel like the theme of like imposter syndrome might be kind of like going along with this reading. Alright, so this is the Seven of Swords. We have Salish legend. The Seven of Swords is a trickster. The coyote represents deceit in all forms, from small pranks to terrible scandals. He is clever and manipulative, but more often than not, he is caught by his own schemes and has to pay dearly for them. So upright, strategy, cunning, thievery, cheating, manipulation. Reverse, conscience, confession, getting caught, outsmarted, deception. So it seems like for this one, it's still kind of interpreting reversed as like negative. Like it can still be negative, but it's also like, oh, perhaps you are like confessing to your to the things that you have done, to any kind of perceived negativity that you've done, right? The occult is something scary, they say, but I have been trying to get comfy with myself. Yeah, like in terms of like my own experience with like studying, like I said, I definitely see tarot in a more kind of like not as much spiritual but secular way, but I have delved into like spiritual stuff in that regard before, and I remember learning about like shadow work. I know that like in a nutshell, at least my understanding, feel free to correct me, but for those who don't know, shadow work is kind of like working with like your shadow, as in like kind of like the darker parts of your own personality that you might not always want to acknowledge. I think a good example would be, if any of you are familiar with Persona 4, I know Kuriketa, we've talked about this before, right? But like Persona 4, I feel does a pretty good job of like explaining it. Like in the plot of Persona 4, they go into this other world and they encounter like the characters encounter dark versions of themselves. And usually they reject like these dark versions because it's like it's not even like lies or falsehoods. It's them, but it's just the parts of themselves that they don't want to like face up against. It's like, oh, I know that you secretly are jealous of this person, or you secretly could get the Persona 4. But yeah, it's that's essentially what shadow work is that you are working kind of with like those parts of yourself that you don't really always want to acknowledge are there. So like, and the thing is, it's not even like lies about yourself. It's like all of us have some sort of negativity in our own personalities that like we don't always want to admit. Sometimes we do. Like it might not be easy to admit, like, yeah, I'm a jealous person, I'm a shitty person, I'm a manipulative person, but like doing something like shadow work is you kind of like going through that, kind of like accepting that part of yourself, and like it could be, you know, like taking steps to be better about it. To me, it's like almost like self-therapy in a way, but I also advocate for actual therapy. So, but that's just my understanding of it. Feel free to correct me, but that's what that reminded me of, Mire, when you said that you're trying to get comfy with yourself, right? Like this could be you getting comfy with, this could be you like trying to be more comfortable with those aspects of your own personality, but because of the stigma around like I said, the word witch, the word magic, it can be very hard because like for some people that could be interpreted as like, well, yeah, like something evil, right? Like, oh, you're working with the darker aspects of yourself? Why? Why? Like, you know, why not just focus on the positive, right? Like the toxic positivity of like, why do you have to focus on that kind of stuff? Just focus on like the positive, the optimism, you know? And I consider myself a very optimistic person, but I definitely recognize the fact that toxic positivity is a thing, because then you're just ignoring. Then you're just ignoring like things. Hi Sime. Magic Mide says exactly. Hi Sime. So hi Bear, I'm at a con with low signal. I'm gonna be passing by to say hi. Well, thank you for taking the time to stop by, Sime. I hope you enjoy yourself at the con. Be safe too, and hopefully there's some good opportunities to rest and hydrate. But yeah, so I feel like this card then goes kind of into all of that. This feeling of imposter syndrome, this feeling of like you want to realize your truest self and you want to kind of like come to terms with like parts of your own personality. But there's these outside factors that are your feet will perish. Oh no, Sime. Bye, good luck, have fun at the con. But yeah. There's that imposter syndrome that you're doing good. You're doing good to yourself, to your community, but like it could be that these shadows are the people that you are getting judgment from, if that makes sense. So like in case in the how do I say this? Like in terms of not necessarily advice, but like I think what the card would advise would be like, you know, this coyote is like he's off in a rush. They want to get to their goal, but they're also dropping all these knives. I think the move then would be to stop, collect yourself, take a breath, pick up the knives, pick up your mind, your ego, your the things that motivate you, and then you can start to proceed. Once you take that big breath, that shadow will also disappear, right? So that's my personal interpretation. Let me know what you think. But yeah. I hope this reading helped in any way. And like I said, I can also read the cards that you posted on your Twitter after I finish with today's readings. But yeah. Any questions, concerns, anything like that? So you got the Seven of Swords reversed. And while I wait for your response, I'm gonna see if I can fix the quality problem. Why is it like this? Video? What if I play around with the frame rate? Put it like that. Ah, the quality got worse. Thank you, that makes you feel better. No rush. Okay, yeah, no problem. Well, thank you. Thank you for requesting a reading. And let's go ahead and put that card back in the deck. And then we'll go on to the next person, which I believe is Cliff Puncher. Next. Thank you. Alright, yeah, so Cliff Puncher, you're next. I'll go ahead and shuffle. I'm kind of liking the music. Like I said earlier, I went to, I went Christmas shopping earlier, but I also got some stuff for myself. We could see the card pretty well when you held it up. Awesome, cool. Right now I'm currently using my phone as my my hand cam. I'm trying to figure out a better way to do it though, because I do have a webcam, but it's currently like on my computer. I just need a way to like have it like here, like here, in a way that isn't too intrusive. Oh, the quality's fine now. But yeah, I don't know. My phone's not even that old. It's actually like the newest. It's the newest iPhone. But maybe it's the fact that it's not like wire connected to my computer. Maybe that's why, you know. But yeah. So let's go ahead and shuffle, randomize. Yeah, I went Christmas shopping. I got something for myself. I got a turtleneck sweater. Might be a focusing issue. Maybe. It's kind of finicky. Like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I was actually reviewing some of my VODs on YouTube. Let me turn this around. And it's like, it's a mixed bag. Sometimes the quality is really bad, and sometimes it's fine. Yeah, I'll figure out something with my webcam. Even if it means, yeah, like just ordering something so that my webcam can stand wherever my phone is. So then it's wired to my computer. So the quality hopefully will not drop. Okay. So that's a shuffle. Alright, so let's go ahead and pick a card. I'm thinking this one, closer to the front. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your card, Cliff Puncher. Oh, we got a Major Arcana card! And you got the Magician. I don't know if I've ever drawn this card before, but I am familiar with it because it is Major Arcana and it's near the beginning. I think it's even number 1, right? Because the Fool is number 0. So yeah, you got the Magician right side up. This is a Major Arcana card that is usually like, you know, if the Fool is like the beginning of your journey, this is kind of like the progression of that journey, but it's you kind of like with the, what's it called? I associate the Magician with yeah, Major Arcana. It's been a while. So what's the difference between Major and Minor? So yes. Major Arcanas are kind of like, it's, how do I say this? They're kind of like I was gonna say the major cards. They're pretty influential. It's almost like if you think about the, how should I say this? So there's like different suits, right? There's wands, there's swords, there's, come on, let's get some more. There's pentacles, there's cups. And these kind of deal more with kind of like day-to-day stuff, like maybe day-to-day struggles or day-to-day things. These are more major. That's also why they're like Major Arcana. It's usually kind of like a big like flashing neon sign of like, oh, pay attention to me. And they, how do I say this? Like Mine, let me know like your interpretation. How do you answer that question of like the difference between major and minor? Because for me it's almost like minor is day to day, major is like a big deal. This is something that not necessarily can influence your whole life, but it's just something that like consider this the advice given by this card to be like advice to definitely follow. But with the Magician, I usually associate that with like having the materials you need to progress. To me, they're phases, they're big events. Yeah, right? Like that's how I feel too. Like I said, minor is day to day. It's kind of like, it's not necessarily like you can ignore the advice given by a Minor Arcana card. It's just more so that this is a big flashing neon sign to be like, pay attention to me. Yeah, big events. This could be like pertaining to big events. This could be like you thinking about a big event. Magician though, like it has been a while with a Major Arcana. So what I'm seeing here with this image though, it looks like it's Cinderella. Because you see the pumpkins, you see the 3 mice. This looks like it's the fairy godmother. And the fairy godmother is associated with like not just granting wishes, but she didn't necessarily grant Cinderella. I'm assuming this is from Cinderella. The fairy godmother from Cinderella. The fairy godmother didn't necessarily grant Cinderella's wish of just like, you know, like being a queen or being like in a good standing. She gave her the materials for it. So she turned the pumpkin into a coach. She turned the mice into Cinderella's helpers. So for me, the Magician has always been about like, you have the materials, you have the resources that you need for you to start a journey, or to rather start how do I say this? Like, if you have like a big goal in mind, this card is pretty much saying that like you kind of have what you need. You might not realize it yet, but you do. So I don't know if there's been like a big thing that you've been thinking about starting, or you know that you've been anxious about starting, but this card is basically saying like you have what you need to do it. Yeah, let me go ahead and refer to the book. But that's what I'm getting from here. We could analyze the picture a little bit more before we get to the book, but we do have this figure. Like I said, I'm assuming she's the fairy godmother, but like she's also this kind of like shining figure in kind of a dark background. Oh, you know what's interesting? As I look more at this card, she is pointing her wand at a starry night, and there's like a star there, right? We don't know if that star is, if she's just highlighting a star that was already there, or if the star is coming from her wand. So that also goes into this whole theme of like if we assume that star, she's just highlighting it, she didn't just make a star out of nowhere. She's just highlighting. She's almost like either pointing the way or showing you that like, yeah, the ingredients or the resources that you need to get started are there. I just need to highlight this for you. The only big thing I'd be thinking about starting would be deciding to quit my job and start a new career or not. That's a pretty big deal, yeah. That's a pretty big deal. So this is pretty much saying she's not necessarily making the decision for you. She's not necessarily saying that, like, yeah, you should quit your job and you should start a new career. But she's saying that, like, if you do decide to quit your job, you do have the resources for it, even if it might not seem so. Or if you do want to start a new career, you have the resources for it. But she's not necessarily saying that you should quit your job. If anything, it could even be like, if there's a position where you can like remain at that job, but still start looking around for your new career or start the steps needed to like start a new career, then she's kind of giving her blessing for it. She's kind of pointing the way for it. That's one interpretation. Let me go ahead and take a look-see. I mean, I already brought the books to learn the new career. Well, there you go. There you go. Those are your resources. That's your stagecoach. That's your little mice to get you there. Let me take a look-see at what the booklet says, just for a little bit more insight. So yeah, it's the fairy godmother. This is from French fairy tale. The magician is a helping hand. She has the ability to change raw materials into something wonderful and dreaming into doing. But she is only the helping hand. It's up to the protagonist, which is you, to use her support moving forward to do the right thing. So upright, it's originality, self-confidence, skill, a breakthrough, and resourcefulness. Reverse, it's insecurity, delay, lack of imagination, closed doors, and manipulation. Oh, I should hold it a little bit closer so you can see. So this might be her saying that, like, yes, everything that you're kind of putting into to learn this new career of yours. You said that you got the books, right? Those are your resources. This might be her saying that, like, it's time to use them. It's time to use them to, like, I'm definitely the kind of person that, like, I'll buy a lot of books and I'll, like, put off actually reading them. It's just more so for the retail therapy, right? I don't know if you're anything like that. Maybe you're definitely you do your due diligence. So it being upright means I have the qualities for this. Yes, exactly. That, like, but yeah, like I said, she's not necessarily like giving you the go ahead of like, yeah, quit your job. But it might even be more emphasis on the start of the new career. It's more emphasis on like, yeah, read those books and like take everything that you can. Be the planner before you just kind of like jump blindly into quitting your job and hoping for the best. If anything, it's more of a call to planning and preparation than it is to just do it. I admit I usually need a kick in the ass for that sort of thing. I'm the same. I need kind of a wake-up call. Like I said, the Christmas shopping today was my wake-up call of like, yo, you haven't done anything in terms of getting Christmas presents. So, yeah. This might be your kick in the ass of like, well, it's time to start reading. It's time to buckle up and at least plan out your departure. Not necessarily to like be tomorrow, or sorry, tomorrow's Sunday for me. It's not necessarily being like your next work day being like, all right, I quit. I'm gonna go take a shit on my boss's desk. This is more so of like, at least prepare for it. Prepare. Because like I said, she has or like the book said, she has the power to like turn raw materials into wondrous things, but it's up to you to make the right decision for it. That's my current interpretation. Is like, kind of go for it, but don't be too hasty now. There are cards in here that are like, yeah, do it, man. Don't let your dreams just be dreams. Do it. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that or any need for like further clarification. Because we are going into this whole idea that this could be about your job. I think that's good advice. Nice. But if there's anything else you've been thinking of, like starting or going into, then like this similar meaning of like just not even just do it, just plan it. Don't let your dreams just be dreams. But yeah, if you don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and move on. But thank you for requesting a reading. And yeah, I'm trying to think of if I know the original not mythology, the folklore with Cinderella, because I know it's French. But is it one of the Grimm brothers one where it actually had like a terrible like bloody ending, but the Disney version made it nice? But that I'm not 100% sure of. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go to the next person. No real questions, but thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for asking questions. Feel free to stick around if you want and see everyone else's readings for the day. After Kuraketa, if no one else requests anything, I'll either look at Emire's cards on stream, or we could also go to just chatting and then just take it from there. But let's go ahead and go with Kuraketa. Yeah, I got myself a nice little sweater, but I would show you the cute sleeves, but it's kind of hot right now in my room because the light is directly on me. I've also been considering switching up my schedule a bit so that I don't do tarot every week. I might just be a bi-weekly or a once a month type of thing. If it's reversed again, I'm sorry, Kuraketa. We'll see what happens. So do the face cards have more important meanings in your life than the numbered cards? That's a good question. I think it's more so that like for any kind of advice that the cards give, like definitely like give it some thought, but the major arcana could be more so relevant to like Mireille said, like big events. Like for example, quitting your job and starting a new career would definitely count as like a big event. But if it's something more like I'm trying to think of like a day-to-day decision, because I feel like something like what should I have for dinner is like too minor of something that you would ask the cards for, right? It's like if you were to ask the cards something like, what should I be thinking about for the day? And you draw like a minor arcana card, then that's just your vibe for the day, you know? Whereas if you ask like, what's the vibe for the day, and you get a major arcana card, then it's like, oh, maybe I gotta rethink a couple of big events in my life. Like, yeah, like rethink that promotion, rethink my my current job. Trying to think of your question really carefully, Cliff Puncher. So, because they all give like advice in some way somehow. I think it's more so like the degree of them. But maybe we'll see with this card for Kuraketa. Go ahead and reverse. Like I said, I'm still a bit of an amateur when it comes to tarot card readings. I've actually been doing readings since 2018, which sounds like... No, actually, 2018 or 2019? It was definitely before the pandemic, but I've been very on and off with it. So, one thing that I've said before is that I'm one of those jack of all trades kind of folks, where I know a little bit about everything. Not everything, but like tarot cards and hieroglyphs and languages. I know a little bit about everything, about those things. But if you were to ask me like, oh, so what's the linguistic phoneme of blah 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 blah, I'd be like, huh? What are you trying to say? What did you say? Okay, so for Kuraketa, I'm trying to think long and hard about this. I'm like going between these two cards, either the top card or this one. Yeah, you know what? Top card. Let's get the top card. If it's reversed, I'm so sorry. But let's see. 3, 2, 1. It's not reversed! Let's go, Kuraketa. You got the 2 of Wands. Oh, and I think I know exactly what figure this is. This is Janus. This is Janus, the Roman god of transitions, of doorways, of like looking back and looking forward. I mean, obviously, not reverse. Let's fucking go. But Cliff Puncher, this is an example of a minor arcana card. So we'll see right now with this reading of like what's the difference between the two. But yeah, Kuraketa, you got a minor arcana, but it's a right side up. It's not reversed. And like I said, let's go off of what I noticed right away is that this seems to be, like I said, the Roman god Janus. And it's one of, what's interesting is that, you know, Roman religion has this reputation of like, they just stole from the Greeks, but this is actually a uniquely Roman god. Like I said, his name's Janus. He's the god of doorways, transitions, looking forward and back. He has 2 faces, as you can see. But let's see, he's holding in his hand two staffs, or 2 staves. It took me a while to realize that staves is the plural of staff, by the way. This is a very symmetrical composition. But as you can see, it's not perfectly symmetrical. In one hand, he's holding a wooden staff. In the other one, it looks kind of like an iron or a metal staff. Oh no, it's a key! It's a key. Especially, like I said, he's the god of doorways, right? But on both sides there's pottery. He's in an archway with grapes. Behind him is a city, but also an ocean with ships on it, and then on either side is mountains. So this could be like oh, and it's the suit of wands. Wands usually has to do with your passions, with your things that kind of give you your motivation. Really weird to see Janus like this, because in the game I play, he is like a robot kind of guy that makes portals. That's pretty cool in terms of like his mythology. Well, I don't know his mythology, but like his symbolism. Like I said, he's the god of doorways and transition. So portals makes sense. Tell me what game that is, by the way. I'm kind of curious. And like I said, it's not perfectly symmetrical, because here he has 1 foot over the threshold. But while 1 foot is back here in town. Let's see what else. And then he also has like his toga, or kind of his clothing kind of draped around, so it's not perfectly symmetrical. And that I think that's pretty notable, is that he has a 1 foot across the threshold. So the usual kind of vibe with this card is that you're starting something. You're starting something new. It could be something that has to do with your motivations, your passions, kind of what makes you click. His beard is shorter on the left side. That has the foot forward. Smite, the one that... Oh, yeah, I remember Smite. Didn't you played that on stream once, right? Or was that another god game? But yeah, his beard is shorter here. Thanks for noticing that, Cliff Puncher, because that could also imply that this side is younger, right? Like this side of his face has a more full beard. So therefore maybe more experience, and that's why it's stepping back, while this one is like fresh and new. This is gonna be fun to analyze, because like, yeah, this could be like you could get the delving into something brand new. You're still kind of like fresh faced with it. But there's also, as you can see, like instead of this stable, nice key that's made out of metal and it's very dependable, you have a wooden stick. It's kind of bare bones, but it might also be all you need to get you quite literally through the door of your new passion. Behind you is like civilization, is stability, it's security, right? But you're delving into something a little bit new. I'm also noticing, yeah, I'm wondering what the symbolism with the pottery is, because this one is a little bit more in view. This one, not so much. This pottery could probably be used to hold water. In tarot, water is usually associated with emotions. So because there's a whole ocean behind Janus, that could be like you even leaving behind old emotions behind. It's also stable waters, as you can see. Meanwhile, like the pottery, that can also be used to hold emotion. So it's almost as if it's saying that like you're venturing into something new, but unlike the Fool, there's a card called the Fool, right? And it usually represents new beginnings. Unlike the Fool, this is like, you're not missing out on much, or you're not like sacrificing much. It's also a wand of a wooden stick on the left, and versus the metal key on the right. Yeah, Cliff Puncher, I like everything that you're noticing. It's like, this is like kind of just art analysis, art history 101 is just like seeing all the different symbolisms and what they could symbolize, right? So yeah, because this is the Two of Wands. Let me look back at my own notes. I actually keep all my notes on like a private Discord. It's a Discord that only I have access to. Maintenance or continuation of a passion or career. Being held firmly in place, considering the planning or logistics needed for a dream to continue. So that's what I have in my notes. In that regard, it's very similar to Cliff Punchers. Like, but rather than saying that like you have all the materials that you need to proceed, this is more so of like an encouragement of like, yeah, you should proceed. You should proceed just for a little hee hee ha ha, just to see what is on the other side of that threshold, right? It's more of like an interest in your curiosity, that if you do have a curiosity, you should pursue it. But it's not necessarily like the Magician where it's like, yeah, you have everything you need to like proceed. This is like, you should do it just for kicks. Or not for kicks, but you know what I mean? It's like, you should do it just to see what happens. I like talking about that stuff, but I enjoy doing it more with literature. Ah, very cool. I think I definitely like literary analysis back when I was at school. A little bit of Bibinka lore is that I have a master's degree, but during my master's program, I had to read so much that I just got like I just got overwhelmed with it, and because of it I can't read like a lot of heavy stuff anymore. Like I can only read like young adult fiction or something kind of like brain empty. So like but you know, I feel like after a couple of years have passed, maybe I will be able to read more heftier things, right? But like I've just had enough of theory. Yeah, exactly. I'm burnt out from reading. Like, and the thing is, I graduated like over 5 years ago. I'm still a little burnt out from it, but I do enjoy like any kind of analysis. For now, it's just like visual for me because I'm an art historian, because I like doing this stuff, but like I am still open to literary analysis too. Though usually I need it to be spoon-fed to me in the form of like a 4-hour video essay, but it is enjoyable at least. So basically, let's just see what actually taking college seriously would look like. No, yeah, exactly, Kuraketta. So like, you know, give it a try for the hee hee ha ha's. Because what's noticeable too, like I said, Janus is the god of thresholds, the god of like transitions, is that it looks like you would still have security in going back. You know, it's not like you should keep going and never look back. This is saying that like you can look back. You can go back if you need to. If it just doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. You can go back to the security and the familiarity that you have behind you. But let's see what the book has to say. Let's see. We got the Two of Wands, so we're all the way back at the beginning. Oh, wait. What bugs me is that there's like a certain order for the suits, but everyone kind of has a different order. Okay. Yeah, I got it right. So we got Janus. This is Italy, Roman mythology. The Two of Wands represents travel and commerce. Janus, the god of doorways and transition, is able to look to the past and the future in order to make effective decisions. He is always in motion, connecting dreams with actual possibilities. So upright this decisions, travel, business opportunities, future planning, and cooperation. Reverse its indecision, doubt, fear of the unknown, and playing it safe. So yeah, it kind of does go with what I've been saying, is that like this card is almost saying, you know, like take a chance and like go past the threshold, see what it's like, but know that you have security with going back to your security. Wait, security with going back to security. You have security in going back to what is stable and what you already know. But another way that the book just said is that you can also look back in order to better inform your decision to move forward. Does that make sense? It's almost like if you're kind of at a crossroads right now, of like, should I do this or should I do that? It's basically saying like, well, look back at your past. Have you tried this before? Did it end well? Did it end not so well? But one of the ways that I'm mainly interpreting it is like, yeah, do it for the hee ha ha's, but just know that you can go back if you need to. But yeah, that's what I'm getting from this. Let me know if you have any questions, or let me know if you want to like discuss more on any of the imagery that you see here. But yeah. And also let me know, Cliff Puncher, if my being burnt out from reading is like there are certain things where like if someone were to tell me that they were burnt out from like art or art analysis, I'd be like, oh, sacre bleu. Like, well, not really. Like I feel like I'm relatively open-minded in that regard. But yeah, like let me know if that's something that's just like, whoa, how could you be burnt out from from literary analysis? There's so much meaning to be had in it. Which I totally get. There definitely is. Yeah, things could relate to college stuff. Making a big investment into a new PC for college too. Ah, interesting. Regaining hobbies just for funsies and see what happens. Yeah, in terms of like the new PC, if it's like money that you're worried about, it might be saying something like, you could get a refund if it doesn't work out. No, that'd be more so like if you drew a card that has to do with like pentacles, right? Because pentacles has to do with, or the coins has to do with your material possessions. But that's also one way that you can interpret it of like, oh man, I might be spending a lot of money on this PC, and this might be saying like, oh, you could get that money back, or like you could refund it, or you could sell it to someone else, you know. And then regaining hobbies just for funsies, just to see what happens. Yeah, exactly. Like, just see what happens, you know? Keep it low stakes, low, what? I keep forgetting the word that I use for this, of like, low barrier of entry, you know? Keep it low stakes, don't try to like, an example that I would give is that like, I'd like to do art, right? Especially for like VTubers. So if I were in your position and I got a card like this, I'd be like, oh, instead of doing a full illustration for my Oshi and hope that he notices it, just do a sketch, just do like a little chibi, post it online and see what happens, that kind of thing. But that's to me because I like doing art. I haven't done art lately, but for the VTubers, but maybe I should soon. I mean, I'm certainly not going to judge you for it. I've burnt out on stuff before, but I love reading. Thinking about the stories I read is what I get the most enjoyment from. Yeah. More power to you. No, and I'm glad too, because my brother-in-law is kind of like that too. Who actually, he said he was interested in a tarot card reading. I feel like I should ping him or something. But my brother-in-law is like that too. He loves reading. He loves getting, you know, like the analysis from it, but like thinking about stuff like world building. My response to that was going to be recommending, yeah, go ahead. Even if it's not like young adult or something that is like, you know, brain empty, please, I would love to. I have been trying to get back into reading, and it's funny because I tried it right when the pandemic started, and it was like, I mentioned this before, but I don't know if you know, but I'm Filipino American, and I read a book that was about the Filipino American experience, and it got me back into reading. But it's more so for middle schoolers. What was it called? I think it was called it's not necessarily Filipino American, but it's called Patron Saints of Nothing. And I loved it, but it was also like when I finished it and returned it to the library, that's when the pandemic hit. And instead of like, I could have used that time to like read more books, but instead I was like, I'm gonna learn pixel art, or I'm gonna learn something else. So yeah, maybe it's time for me to get back into it. Let's see. I am also building it myself, so I see it more in a way that if you fuck it up, don't worry. Thankfully, money is not the issue, so go ahead and see what happens. Yeah, there you go. It's an interesting comment. Welcome. Welcome, first time chatter. But yeah. So if there aren't any questions, let me know if you have any questions about this Curaqueta. Yeah. So let me know if you have any questions. I was going to recommend a 2-book series. Could you get a reading? Knees Duts. Sure. Let me read Cliff Puncher's comment first, and then we'll go into it. Oh, and hello, Matthew. Oh, you were here earlier. So I was going to recommend two book series from an author I love. Starts with The Clockwork Boys, a paladin, an assassin, a forger, and a scholar ride out on a suicide mission to stop a war. Ooh, okay. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me see what The Clockwork Boys. Thank you for the recommendation. Thank you, Cliff Puncher. Cool. And then we have people joining the queue. Matthew, no worries. And then nope, all clear, thank you. It's not meant to be. Third time's the charm. Yeah, you got it. Go ahead. Awesome. Okay, so we just finished with Kuraketa. We're gonna do Matthew next, and then we're gonna do Knees Duts. 69. Honestly, I've loved every book of hers I read. Bangers all. Cool, I'll check it out. Thank you once again for the recommendation. Let's go ahead and get a reading for Matthew, and then we'll go to Knees Duts. Gotta believe in the spleen of the cards. You know what video I watched recently, like this morning? The Pot of Greed video. I draw Pot of Greed, which lets me summon Pot of Greed. It's like people, if you're not familiar with the video, it's like two people in VR chat, like role playing, I guess, like they're playing like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And it's someone like playing Pot of Greed. Hi Mire, hello. And Pot of Greed just lets you draw 2 cards, but like it's such a meme because it's kind of overpowered. Because it's an early card, so there were no like, because nowadays the cards are like I think Professor Lando talked about this too. Nowadays the cards are like, oh, you can draw 2 cards if, like, you know, the temperature is exactly 47 degrees and you also link summon a monster and you also do pendulum summoning. Whereas back then it was like, oh, this card's effect is draw 2 cards. So it became a meme in the community, but the video that I'm talking about is like a VR chat thing of like people being like, I summon Pot of Greed, which lets me summon Pot of Greed, which lets me summon I summon Celtic Guardian, and like the opponent is like, that's not what it does, that's not what anything does. I mean, modern Yu-Gi-Mon's pretty busted, utterly busted. Cards depending on the temperature would be fire though, can you imagine? You have to be playing in a place that's exactly like, I don't know, 96 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you can see, I'm kind of just randomly shuffling these. I'm occasionally like turning it upside down and stuff. Oh, what did the censor catch? What were you trying to say, Matthew? I need to figure out how to fix that. You can swear in here, just don't be, you know, we just gotta be respectful, right? But I trust you, Matthew, you're a regular here, I know you wouldn't be saying nothing too sussy. I mean, I feel like, were we not talking about ancient Egyptian mythology and penises earlier? I mean, sorry, phalluses. Meta, depending on the tournament, is played actual banger. You see someone setting up a window air conditioner, know they're cheating. Exactly. But no, we're stuck with the usual card meta of playing Pot of Greed. I feel like we're only a couple minutes into me doing my Joey Wheeler impression for like the 17th time. Oh, a link! Okay, I think I might have disabled it somehow. Okay. So, we're doing a drawing for Matthew, and it's a 1-card drawing, so let me see, I'm gonna do this card. And actually, I think that's been 5 people, so I'm actually going to close the queue, don't worry, Knees Duts. You are still gonna get a reading, but I'm just gonna close the queue so that no one else enters. Bless you. That was Beans. Everyone say bless you to Beans. Okay, so we have here the Ace of Cups. However, it's reversed. Oh, you sent it to me on Discord. Okay, cool, thank you. This is an interesting one. Cool. I think links might be disabled in all Twitch chats. VIPs might be able to do them. I gotta figure out how to VIP you. Kuriketa said bless you. Okay, cool. And Matthew did too. Alright, so we have here the Ace of Cups. It was drawn reversed, but let's go over the right side up drawing first. So the cups, the suit of cups, has to do with your emotions or the unconscious, stuff that isn't. Let me go to my cheat sheet over here. I usually associate it just with like emotions. But it could also be like relationships, not necessarily romantic, but just like friendship. Thank you, Babinkovs. I feel awfully blessed. And it looks like what we have here is I think that's the kanji for sake, right? Yeah, it was reversed, and I'll go over what that means. But you did get the Ace of Cups. This usually has to do with like, so the ace is like the beginning of the suit, right? It usually goes ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then what's called the court cards. So the ace usually has to do with beginnings. Matthew said, "Don't eat us, beans." So yeah, this has to do with the beginning, in this case, of either a new relationship or a new kind of like emotionality that you're feeling. Because like I said, cups are usually associated with your emotions, but it can also be your bonds. It could be new friendships, new relationships, just new anything really that has to do with your emotions. And in this case, we are seeing sake. We're seeing rice wine being poured into this cup atop a barrel that I believe says sake in kanji. It's also surrounded by some greenery, and then we also have this, I don't know exactly what these are, but I've seen it in terms of like temple, like when you look at Japanese temples, you see kind of like this rope, these tassels, and then these paper thingies that look like lightning bolts. So all of that just kind of adds to this idea of like, this is the beginning of something new. However, it is reversed. Reversed doesn't necessarily mean that it's like the opposite. It's not necessarily the opposite. So it's not like saying like the end of a relationship or the end of emotionality. It's more so that something is preventing you from like manifesting or really appreciating or experiencing a new friendship, a new bond, a new relationship. So this could be that like, this could be like some kind of anxiety or worry about beginning something new, a new bond with someone else, or a new feeling that you're feeling. Or it could be that you're experiencing too many emotions at once, and that could be like the anxiety of like, well, I'm already kind of going through it right now. I'm already experiencing a lot of emotions. Why should I open myself up to like a new emotion, right? So that's kind of like an initial reading with this card. If we look at the book, let's see. I'm curious as to what like mythology this is from. So this is from Matsuo Sake. I also didn't read your comment. I cast Cup of Ace. On a heads, I draw a card. On tails, you do. Oh, there we go. I see your. I wonder if there is like tarot themed Yu-Gi-Oh like cards. There has to be, right? The hand's fingernails are painted white. They kind of look like rice grains to me. Oh, you're right. Look at that. The fingernails are white. So it's almost like the hand itself, whoever is kind of offering this new bond for you. Like, even if we're assuming this is rice wine, not necessarily saying like, oh, the fingers are part of the rice wine. But it's like, it's similar themes, right? That like maybe this person is offering or ready for like a new emotionality or a new bond, so to speak. I vaguely remember an angel archetype based off the Arcana. Ooh, okay. I might want to check that out. So Matsuo Sake. This is Japanese mythology. The Ace of Cups marks a new beginning, a reason to drink and be merry, to open up to subconscious feelings. Sake is the drink of the gods, bringing people closer to the spirit world. So upright, happiness, love, intimacy, new emotions, and compassion. Reverse, relationship problems, depression, sadness, creative block, and repression. So those are all pretty intense, right? But it might not necessarily be that extreme. It could just be like something is preventing you from experiencing either new emotions or new bonds with someone else. Like I said though, it's possible that it might not be necessarily like relating to someone else, because you know, new relationships, new bonds means that implies that this is with someone else. It could also be internally. It could also be like I said, the ability to experience emotions kind of on your own. So something might be blocking that. What I'm curious about now is this myth of Matsuo Sake. So I'm actually going to do some on-the-fly research. What is this myth about? Because I've never heard of it before. Alright, so I googled Matsuo Sake. What is this? Shimane, the birthplace of sake. This is the page that it got me to. I'm going to put it in the chat. So if you guys also want to read it, get your own interpretation of it. Rice wine or sake. Shimane is considered the birthplace of sake. In the legend Yamata no Orochi, Susanoo has Kushinada Hime's parents brew a strong type of sake. He then uses it to get the seven-headed snake so drunk that he passes out. It looks like there's another one. Is there another one here? Find Matsuo. Who's Matsuo? I'm curious. Find Matsuo. Sorry, it's because I'm reading right now. So it is also said that during Kamiarizuki, when the gods have all gathered at Izumo Taisha, they enjoy drinking sake together. This can be traced back to another connection between mythology and sake in a story found in Izumo no Kuni Fudoki. I don't know what some of these words mean, by the way. Long ago, a great number of gods gathered along the banks of the river in this area and set up a kitchen to prepare food and drink. Then they made sake. They spent the next 180 days drinking, after which they went their separate ways. The term is used to describe this is Saka Mizuki, and from that word, the area got its name of Saka. That place is now Kozakai-cho in the Hirata area of Izumo City. Through the years, the place name changed several times, but the character for sake is often used. A small shrine, Saka Shrine, proves the original place name. The shrine also goes by Matsuo Shrine. So what I'm getting from this is that this place, Matsuo, just refers to a location. I could be wrong, there might be an actual like mythology associated with it. But you know, sake is it's a drink that's supposed to have you like relax and kind of like open yourself up to either people or just new ideas. So what this could be saying, especially because it was drawn in reverse, is like the sense of like maybe if you're feeling either anxious or stressed or like a little tense, this is saying that like maybe it's time to like relax yourself a little bit, and maybe that will help with opening yourself up to either new relationships, new bonds, or new emotions that you're experiencing. Which is interesting because I've never, you know, we've mostly chatted through the chat, but I've never picked you as someone who's ever been tense. You always seem very easygoing and easy to talk to. So that is one interpretation of it. Maybe, you know, since we've only spoken through chat, maybe there is something that is like tense that you might need to relax on. That's what this card could be saying, but let me know if there's any other ideas that you have about that. Time to get drunk and meet new people. Naruhodo. Perhaps. Or perhaps it is something to that regard. Not necessarily like go out and get drunk right now, but just like relax yourself in a way that lets you be more open to new relationships with people. So yeah, that is a interpretation of that. Do you have any questions or you know, any other needs for clarification at all? Let me know. I don't mind in the least. Or time to meet the randomnades at Meet Space at cons. I mean, CMA's at a con right now, right? So maybe. I don't know of any cons that I've only ever gone to Anime Expo. Reminds me of a cool scene from Fate. Yes, Fate Zero! Where all the remaining players in the story meet together and drink in the plaza. Yeah, I remember. Time to debut as a PNG tuber? I would say so, Matthew. Like I said, if you ever need help with that, let me know. Izakaya time, let's go. But Clip Puncher, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's one of my favorites. It's when it's like, I guess spoiler alert for Fate Zero. It's is it the one with Gilgamesh? Oh, sorry, I should use their not they're not spoiler names, right? It's Archer, Saber, and Ryder are all together. They're drinking sake and they talk. What's cool about that scene is that they're also talking about their philosophies, right? It's been a while since I watched Fate Zero, but like, is that not what they were doing? And like, they're not necessarily merrymaking, but they're at least getting to understand each other a little bit more. They're not getting drunk and being like, I fucking love you. It's more of like, well, now I understand where you're coming from, but you're still my enemy, and I'm still gonna defeat you. So maybe it's like that, Matthew, where it's like not even necessarily like, I need to get like, you know, an amazing friendship with someone right now. It could even just be like a talk of like where you're coming from and like your own philosophy. They all talk about what it means to be rulers. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let's go. Time to go get drinks in the middle of a hurricane. Oh my god. Following in the footsteps of the orc. Working on a VTuber setup. Man, that's hard. PNG Tuber, I can definitely help you. But VTuber, I still don't know that life yet. Maybe one day though. But yeah, if you have no other questions, someone recommend getting an Elgato XLR for connecting a camera to PC for hand cam stuff. I'm using my phone, so I could tell you what setup I use. I feel like there's better ways though, but the quality hasn't been dropping lately, so maybe my problem has been solved. But yeah, if it's okay with you, Matthew, I'll go ahead and move on to our last person for the day. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. All right. In the meantime, let's go ahead and go next. Alright, last reading of the night, of the evening. Are you still here? Knees Duts. 69. Very interesting name, by the way. If you're still here, I'll go ahead and start shuffling and do a reading for you. But yeah, let me know. Yeah, I know, Matthew, you've been talking about like you debuting as a PNG tuber. I feel like you'd be really good for it. I kind of like that a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people have been going through their streamer arc, right? And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's fun nonetheless. I feel like even some admittedly newer Hollow VTubers have used phones for their hand cam setup. The quality could probably be better, but I still think it's pretty good. Yeah. Now I'm wondering what kind of setups they use. I haven't seen any of the newer boys. I did tune into Ruse's membership stream earlier, but that wasn't a hand cam. That was just him. Oh my god, he was doing squats, y'all, for like a full hour. He did rest a lot, but I was like, yo, what the hell? Can I shout out my other VTuber friends? Yeah, of course, go for it. I'll start shuffling, but Knees Duts, you have a minute or so to respond, otherwise we're gonna skip you. Man, let me know. I'd be happy to give a reading. This is gonna be the last one for the night. Ah, I messed up the shuffle. Can show you the friend who recommended using a digital camera for hand cams right now. Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, and you sent me something on Discord. Let me check it out. I'm playing modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In a nutshell. Oh no, yeah, it's a link. Send it to me on Discord. DM it to me. Alright, Knees Duts, you have let's do 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. Or what the hey, a minute. So Knees Duts going, well, no, I can't say going once yet. Yeah, have any of y'all been watching any other Hollow VTuber? Wait, he's a mini painting elf mimic VTuber. Ooh, cool. Which is interesting since he mostly does painting streams. I want to check this person out now. Halbernacht. Oh, don't play. No. Oh, are they live right now? Oh, it's an ad, but Oh, is that Peganeko that they're I guess collabing with right now? Helbernacht. Alright, last call for Knees Duts. Going once. Going twice. Going thrice. Alright, I'm so sorry, Knees Duts, but we are gonna go ahead and move on. The queue is empty. So yeah, let's go ahead and go to my Zatsu screen. If they return, we can do one more reading, but otherwise, I think we're gonna go ahead and I'll just switch to Zatsu right now. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stream for, but I'm just gonna change the just chatting. I'm gonna change the category right now. Wait, didn't change. Just chatting. Okie dokie. Did it change? Okay, yeah. So I'm just chatting now. Gaze upon the power of digital camera setup. He's collabing right now. Yeah, because there's like 3 Warhammer painting VTubers for real until MataraCon does the thing. That'd be cool. I actually haven't been able to tune into MataraCon stuff lately. Yeah, cool. So, Helbernacht. Oh, cool. When you say painting, I immediately thought of like, I guess just like 2D painting, but like I do want to check out more like 3D painting stuff. I'm not that great with like 3D art, but I would like to be. It's funny because I was really close to getting another... so I currently have 3 degrees. I have an associate's, I have a bachelor's, and I have a master's. But I was really close to getting another associate's. I just needed one more class, but I didn't want to take the class because it was intro to 3D art. And what that means, it's not 3D like graphics, it's not like 3D on a computer, it's 3D IRL. So I would have had to buy a whole bunch of different things. It was like I want to say wire. I would have had to buy like sculpting materials, and I think like I had the opportunity to take it, but it was right before the pandemic. And I think it was either I was gonna take a watercolor class or I was gonna take the 3D art class. And I was like, I'd much rather do watercolor. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get that extra degree. And also, I don't need it, because I already have, like, my master's, right? So, you dropped out of college? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I definitely, like, I grew up as a... Hopefully this doesn't come off as trauma dumping, but I was definitely like, you know, the teacher's pet growing up. Very much like academically inclined because it was the, you know, it's the thing that like my, you know, Asian parents, you know, it's like, you gotta be good at this. You have to be. So like, I was pretty good academically and like, you know, I did fairly well, you know, but I do acknowledge that, you know, it's the way that education is, it's not for like, not even education, it's like collegiate. Like, it's the systems. It's not, because I don't want it to be interpreted as me saying that like, you know, education's not for everyone. It's more so like the system of education that we currently have, like it's not mindful of like different learning styles, you know. Like, different learning styles and like different ways of understanding. And it worked for me because it was like just kind of drilled into my head. Yeah, gifted student that would become burnt out by the end of it. I mean, like I said during the stream clip Puncher, like I became burnt out from reading because of college. It's like, yeah, I got this degree, but I never want to fucking read like anything longer than 100 pages ever again. Like, bro, I wish I had an art major instead of a English creative writing major. I think, what was it? I feel like there was a quote that is either from Tumblr or somewhere else that was like, what was it that like this person on Tumblr like admired the way that like people who can do creative writing are able to conjure up images in someone's mind. You know, it's almost like witchcraft. Like, that's right, I'm calling you a witch. Like, But you can like conjure images up like out of thin air, and yes, like artists can do that like physically, they can elicit emotions from it, but like a really good piece of like literature, or in my case fan fiction, like you're literally kind of like conjuring up these images. You're making me vividly hallucinate my OTP making out, and like I think that counts for something. Like I definitely like admire people that like I don't think she's here right now, but Grace, like one of my favorite writers, like fanfic writers, but like writers essentially. Gifts to collegiate student to burnout pipeline. Yes, I was much more interested in my high school courses. I think a large part due to my teacher there. Yeah, I feel like teachers do make a difference. Teachers and professors definitely make a difference. Like I remember I was helping my little sister with her homework, and then my mom was like, she failed one of her classes, but in summer school she got the highest grade, and I was like, yeah, me too, because like I actually failed algebra 2. I failed algebra 2 when I was in high school, but I took it again in the summer and I got the highest grade, and it's just because of the teacher, literally. So I do think your teachers, like how passionate they are about the subject and how willing they are to like work with the student, like I think that definitely matters. I haven't written or read anything since getting my degree. Oh no, are you also burnt out? The one thing I learned from my teachers is don't. Wait, was there more to that sentence, or is it just don't? One of my intro to creative writing teachers was like, lol, you want to be an English major because you like Doctor Who and the BBC. I have to catch up on the new David Tennant Doctor Who specials. I've been wanting to watch them. The 9th Doctor was my doctor, but the 10th was also just as good. I love David Tennant. I love Donna Noble. I do want to see where that goes. I unfortunately dropped. I had nothing against Capaldi, but I just didn't have time to watch his arc. And then, the doctor after him, the oh my god, what's her name? Fuck. But when I heard that David Tennant was coming back, I was like, oh, it's time. But I wanted to say, fuck that, Warhammer 40k, soccer hooligans are hella British. There you go. Have you watched, what's that one show about the football coach that becomes a football coach, but in the UK? Oh no, Beans loves that show. What was it called? Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso. As I've grown older, I've only gained more and more respect for my high school teachers. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, some of my high school teachers were cool, but I also hated some of them. So true. Christopher Eccleston was my intro to Doctor Who too. Such a compelling character. Yes, Cliff Puncher, you get it! I love Eccleston. Well, like, you know when people ask, like, who's your doctor? For me, it's the 9th. But I watched Tenet and Matt Smith. I loved their plots as well. Never had an art senpai. Not into soccer. I'm into orcs. Art senpai. Did I have an art senpai? Well, I would say, I'd say if you haven't already, check out this, both the manga and the anime, Blue Period. It has a pretty good, like, intro to, like, what it's like to get into art, especially when you didn't grow up, like, being into art. Because Blue Period is about a high schooler that gets into art. Eccleston's entire character was defined by the trauma he had over the war that he just finished. Yeah. And he had the shortest stint as the Doctor, right? I believe he was oh no, well technically it's the one before him. Not the War Doctor, but the one that was just in the movie. I forgot his name. I used to be able to say all of their names. Harrelson was the first one? Oh no, William. Nope, can't remember it. Did you guys see that Twitter thread that was like all of the deaths confirmed, like, by each Doctor? And for Eccleston, it was like 0. Like, he actually didn't kill anyone throughout his entire, like, role as the 9th Doctor. And then it went to David Tennant and it was like over 5 million. It's like, yeah, he killed over 5 million people, including like a number of Daleks. But it's just funny because like Eccleston, like I wouldn't have expected that. I feel like because doesn't Eccleston have that whole like like I think it's like the second or third episode where he tells a Dalek to KMS, oh no, to KYS. You know what you should do? Content warning for KYS. You know what you should do? You should kill yourself. It's like I think I also saw like a Twitter video of like the dub for Freyren, which I haven't watched yet, but it's just her saying KYS. And like yes, that is like a serious like, you know, I understand that could be triggering, but it's the delivery that was like, what the fuck? I'm glad I got over how incredibly goofy the special effects were in that era of Doctor Who. Yeah, definitely. It's super goofy. Wasn't there like another Tumblr post where it's like, yeah, but when you watch Doctor Who, especially like the earlier revival era ones, there's like a 50% chance that you're about to see something like monumental or something incredibly stupid. Was it like Mickey going plastic or something, or like being replaced by like a plastic alien? I forgot a whole bunch of things, but I you know, no matter how many details I forget, I'll never forget how that series made me feel. Ninth Doctor being harsh in language but never actually killing anyone also tells something about his character. Yeah, no, exactly. The fact that he said KYS but didn't actually kill anyone. I think the tweet was even something like, he didn't kill anyone, but he does like to watch. So yeah. I have to catch up. I want to see the new Doctor Who episodes. But yeah, like going back to the whole like teachers can definitely make a difference. Teachers and professors both, like, and if you just end up with kind of like a professor that's either burnt out or just doesn't care about their students, then it sucks. It sucks because like I'm trying to think of like I was just sharing some stories with my coworker earlier about like a really interesting English teacher that I had. Since both of you, Cliff Puncher and Matthew, are like have some experience with like writing and literary analysis, I had a English professor. This was for a class called Critical Thinking, but for some reason it was in the or I guess yeah, it makes sense why it's in the English department. But Critical Thinking was like an English class. It's like a step up 101. And the professor for this class, for this English class, for this critical thinking class, he had us read his own writing. Like, he published 3 books, and it's self-published too. And he had us read them. Which, you know, depending on the professor, that could be an awesome experience. You get to ask the author in real time, like, what they were thinking about this. I think the main issue, though, is that it was more or less like his, like, biography, but more so like a lot of emphasis on the trauma dumping, and he also wasn't super open about any kind of critique or any kind of alternate analysis. Yeah, self-promotion, definitely. And you got a good grade if you complimented him and like how heroic he was in the face of adversity, and you know, like I feel like there was a lot of opportunity. Like, if you're really into literary analysis, if you're really into, like, being able to talk to the author of a work. But here, it just felt a little bit like a circle jerk. Like, not literally, of course, but you know what I mean? Where it's like, you get a higher grade if you compliment him and his writing. The issue there is always the question of if they're using their position to just push the book instead of using it as a medium to teach. Exactly, Cliff Puncher. 100%. It, like, for me at least, it felt like they were using it as a way to like, hey, read this book, otherwise like no one else is gonna read this book. There was like a lot of trauma in it, like so as to not dox this teacher and myself. I won't give too much like information about, you know, like the book itself, but I'll just say that there was a lot of trauma in it, and there wasn't any room for any analysis of, like, you know, whether anything was the main character's fault. Like, it was just, not to victim blame either, but it was, he didn't take any kind of critique very well, I'll say that. My senior year English teacher was a snooty, stereotypical English professor who was into Jane Austen and whatnot. Don't remember why I hated the fuck out of her. I do remember that in high school, my English professor, he actually had us read The Watchmen. like the comic, because the movie was coming out at that time. So like I remember liking that. I remember enjoying that because it's almost like the teacher was being mindful of what the students would be interested in at that time. I don't remember too much out of that class though. The more I think about high school, the more I feel like we got a lot of free time. Excuse me. Sorry, didn't mean to burp into the mic. I remember doing a report on Pride and Prejudice and zombies out of spite. Yeah, I feel like there are teachers that would be open to that, right? They'd be like, oh, cool, that's a pretty sick concept. I heard similar stories from friends also in college, but they were more assigning books as required reading than ever going over them in class. Dang, so it's just so that they could be like, yeah, like, at least, 500 people read my book. And it's like, well, yeah, because you made it required reading. Right, I'm just exiting out of some windows. And there we go. Yeah. So that's where it gets like kind of dicey, right? Is like, are you assigning this book because you just want to promote it and have more eyes on it, or like, do you think that this book that you wrote is actually like the analysis will actually contribute to the critical thinking skills of your students? So regardless, I'm pretty sure I got an A in that class, so whatever. Another teacher that professor that I had. This might be the last story before I call it. I am getting a little bit tired, but I do want to share about this like interesting professor that I did have, and it was for a health class. Sorry, I'm gonna turn off the light that I was using for tarot cards because I'm starting to get kind of warm. So in college, this was in community college, it's required that you take a health class. And this teacher taught health in definitely a bit more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Esoteric way. They taught chakras, I don't want to just simplify by saying like, yeah, Naruto chakras. She taught Naruto chakras, but to be fair, chakras are also a part of certain ideas in Hinduism, I believe. Hinduism, I think, I don't know about Buddhism, but chakras are a thing. Chakras. They're a thing in certain faiths, which I understand and I completely respect that. But I don't know, there was something that was rubbing me the wrong way about her teaching it in a health class, and only that. Like, nothing necessarily about, like, eat a healthy diet, or these are some of the diseases that can, affect your life, or these are some of the reasons why you could be having a healthy diet but still be this many pounds, or like smoking is bad, or like these are the effects of smoking cigarettes, cigars, and marijuana. I feel like those are some of the things that you should go over in a health class, especially if it's a required class. But her main focus was like the esoteric, like, spirituality of it. Which, like I said, like, different strokes for different folks. I don't mean to disrespect any of that. But in a health class? I don't know. Is this making sense? Like, it just felt weird. My Latin teacher in high school was a real one. He told me that I am more of a story-based learner. I think he was right. That was another reason I ended up becoming an English teacher, because I like the idea of stories. Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of I'm sorry, I'm reading ahead, like, everyone's chat messages, but I think it's really nice to have those teachers that, like, years later they made that much of an impact on you. Because I still remember my third grade teacher, because it was something like these kids were making fun of me for being Filipino, and I just remember, like, super short story, like, the teacher said something of like, don't make fun of her, Filipinos are amazingly talented. She said those words, and like that just stayed with me for the rest of my life. So alternative Eastern medicine, yes, essentially. That's a very iffy health class. No, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, right, Kuraketa? That it's like, I understand that you're teaching this so that we know about, like, Eastern medicine and alternative medicine, but, like, why in a health class? Like I said, why not teach about, like, the systems of the body, or like the effects of tobacco smoke, the effects of, like, unhealthy diets, or like, stuff like that. English major, not teacher. Oh, okay. Becoming an English major. Oh, because you like the idea of stories. Yeah. And if that influences you a lot, then I'm glad. Filipino master race. I wouldn't go that far, but she just basically said like, oh, like don't let anyone make fun of you for your ethnicity, for your race. But yeah, I think one more thing about that health teacher that I kind of hated was that she I don't know if any of you have ever been in like a junior college or a community college situation where you're the first days, like people are trying to quote unquote crash the class, as in they're trying to add the class to their schedule, but they're not officially signed up. So the first day of school, the first day of class is usually like you could crash your class, you could just walk in, and if there's room in that class and if the professor is cool about it, they'll add you to the class, right? So I was used to that. Like usually the first days of class, the classes would be kind of crowded because people are trying to add it. And then usually people either like either drop or like the professor puts a hard boundary on like, okay, I'm only gonna be accepting 5 students. The rest of you have to go look for another class. This health teacher did not do that. Up until the end of the semester, that class was always filled past capacity, which is, I'm pretty sure, like a fire hazard. But I do remember that if you didn't get to that class on time, you had to sit on the floor, because I sat on the floor like a good amount of times. And I wasn't even late. That's the thing, is that everyone was just faster than me. But I don't know, it's like, how could you get away with that? Also, like, a health teacher doing this? Come on now. Like, you're a health teacher and you're doing like a very active fire hazard by overcrowding your classroom with students? I don't know. That's just my rant on that health teacher. My world history and English teachers in high schools influenced the way I view the world from then on. Yeah, there you go. Critical thinking skills and looking at how history affected things is vital. No, exactly. My master's is in history, so that definitely like it's interesting because not only did when I was doing my master's, I was also tutoring students. I was tutoring undergraduates, and the tutoring was just on their essays, and that's why I. Not to pat myself on the back or nothing, but I feel like I could make a mean essay. I mean, not mean. I could make a decent essay. And it's interesting because I found myself repeating a lot of things to all these different students, and the main thing that I kept on repeating to them is that like when you reach your conclusion to an essay, usually it's to talk about kind of like the wider effects of your topic, not just effects, but like why is it important, why is this topic important enough to have an essay written about it, right? And then usually the thing that I tell them is that like the thing about historical essays or historical papers is not necessarily like, oh, we got to learn from history so that we don't repeat history, right? That's the usual adage, that's the usual like oh, learn from history so you don't repeat it. What I argue is that that's not 100% true. We learn from history not because we don't want to repeat it, but it's more so because a lot of the problems that we've had across history were never solved. Or not solved, but were never... what's the word I'm looking for? Like, a lot of the problems we had back then are still problems. Right? Like, and it's not like we live in this golden era where all of like the problems that we had in the past are of the past. Like we still got lots of problems. Like, stuff like genocide, stuff like misinformation, stuff like the general vibe of capitalism was never quote unquote solved in the past, and we live in this golden age where it's a thing of the past. No. Like, it's still very much a thing here in the present. So that's why we do like, you know, historical essays. It's not even just to like get a grade. It's because it's to draw light on like how much these problems are still affecting us nowadays. My best friend has a master's in history because of the same history teacher. Nice! There you go. Make a meme essay? I have a meme presentation. You guys want a preview of it? Only hieroglyphs? No. I legitimately do have a presentation about like meme culture. My voice is kind of fading, so I can at least give you a preview. I just gotta make sure that I don't have anything on that presentation that'll dox me, but the so-called solutions are mostly patches. Yeah, that reminds me of Tearzu. Like, Tearzu If you guys aren't aware, it's this YouTube channel about like animals, and like they this guy like ranks or talks about animals like their video game, options. Like, oh, the cheetah is the fastest build in the Africa server because it put all its points into speed. Like, oh, and I got nerfed during like the Paleolithic, or I don't know, stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of like our history is basically just like patches. Like, oh, the new what is this? Like 2023 patch. Humans are now more vulnerable to to this, Okay, I think this is the last thing I'll do is I'm gonna look at the presentation that I had about meme culture. I'm gonna see if there's anything that could dox me. Hopefully not, but at the very least, maybe I can give y'all a small preview. Let me find it. Fucking capitalism meta. No, exactly. Yeah, I wonder if anyone's done what Tirzu has done, but with like history instead of animals, Like, what's the latest meta, Well, obviously it's capitalism, but I'm a faithful believer of the honey badger meta. It's broken. It is. It kind of is. Honey badgers are cute. They're the ones that look like they have like a funky hairstyle, right? Like, I don't know how else to put it. Be ungovernable. Be like the honey badger and give no fucks. No, exactly. Do it, Bubinka. I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah, presentations. Oh no, where is it? Let me find it. Is it in art history? Teaching. Oh, is it this one? I found two things. I found one where I did like a history of memes, and then another one where it's a history of memes through the lens of like Dadaism and like surrealism. One of them is definitely more academic, and one I did for funsies when I was like fresh out of school. Tirzu, but history would be a great concept. Just never ever read the comments on those videos. Oh no. And never mention China or the Tencent army will flood your channel with hate raids. Oh no, okay. Oh no. Right, I'm going to send this to myself. The link. Copy link. Alright, I think I got it. Let me just exit out of a few things. Get OBS. Literally think of Kiryu Koko. Oh, yeah. I see. Okay, I think I have it. Let's go to gaming. Oh yeah, that's right. that warning was for the last game I played, which was Procession to Calvary, which was a wild one. If you watch that VOD, just be warned. It's there's some satanic rituals in there. It's interesting to say the least. There you go. Alright, I did like a quick check to make sure that there was nothing in here that would dox me, but hopefully If I make any mistakes, you didn't see nothing. Okay? Are we clear on that? And mind you, I made this. When did I make this? This was like 2017. So it doesn't have the latest dank memes, unfortunately. It only has memes up to 2017. Yeah, a brief history of millennial youth culture. It's not even millennial. Why did I? Okay, whatever. So pre-internet memes, we got Kilroy was here. You could see this during World War II. I'm just gonna give like a speed run of like some memes. Andre the Giant, the Obey is his face. That's a pre-internet meme. Have you ever played Pentiment? It feels like something made for you. I want to. I have it. I bought it. I just haven't played it yet. Actually, that would be a good game to play now that I've played Procession to Calvary. That might be on my schedule for next week or the week after. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you for reminding me of that. The Three Hairs apparently was a meme. This is from the grad student Vivinka. This is from, I mentioned it before. I worked for like a pretty shitty for-profit school fresh out of college. So, this was for a student that did really well, and like their reward, because I think I offhandedly mentioned like, oh, I can make a presentation on memes for you, and he's like, yeah, please, and I did. They were like the one student I had that was like really good and like really good with like critical thinking. Here's another pre-internet meme. Yeah, for-profit education. Yeah, it was yeah. It was hell. This is an interesting meme. It's Satur Arepotenet Operaretas. I don't know what it means, but it just basically is like these little squares that say that forward and backward. Proto meme. You guys want to see some proto memes from the early 2000s to the 2010s? You got the GIFs and forums, emails and message boards. You got the dancing baby. You got the it's peanut butter jelly time. You know, like that meme. And you also got localizations gone wrong, like all your base are belong to us. This is from not even a mistranslation, it's just like a not very well done translation, but it's just so like lulzy. Yeah, these are ancient memes. The translation was just so lulzy that people made a meme out of it. Demotivational posters. This is around the time I got into memes. Like, you had motivational posters, which you would see like in office walls. Like if you watch The Office, it's all around you. But demotivational posters were like in reaction to that. Yeah, memes from your childhood. I was there when the ancient magics were written. Exactly. Flash animations. I'm pretty sure Randon references these sometimes. This is the badger mushroom the badger. This one is Ultimate Showdown from Ultimate Destiny, and this one is I forgot the name of it, but I just remember like I'm tired. Launch the missiles. Oh yeah, it was like launch the missiles, but I'm tired. Oh, then take a nap and then launch the missiles. I forgot what the actual name of it was. Yeah, it was on Newgrounds. Weeble stuff. Beginnings of 4chan memes. Like Invisible Mike, bike. Yeah, take a smoke break, then fires the missiles. Renan has absolutely mentioned memes like Badger and from before. Yeah, definitely. You had the macros, right? I think you also, later on, you get the, oh my god. You get the combo breakers on 4chan. Isn't that supposed to be refrigerator? Cookies in the fridge. Not putting cookie dough in the fridge. Old green fucker, yeah. Mainstream meme era. This is when memes started to become a little bit more well-known. At least with the youth. Yeah, you got the macros. 2011. Spends all night studying, sleeps through exams. Isn't this like Bad Luck Brian? Forgot this one. This is like Intense Wolf or something. Mosquito bites it, eat it, and take back what's yours. Advice Duck. If you are away from news for a while and you want to catch up, search month, year in Wikipedia. This will give you all the major world news for that month. Brace yourself. New year, new life posts are coming. 'Tis the season. What if I told you you don't have to eat the whole bag of chips in one sitting? Rage Wolf! Yeah, it's Rage Wolf. Exactly. Okay, so the era of dank memes, 2015 to present. Now we're in a new era. Like I said, this was made in 2017. You got dank memes on social media? Here Come Dat Boy, do you guys remember this? This might be nostalgic now. This is actually kind of nostalgic for me. You got the Arthur Fist, you got the Mr. Krabs and like the caveman SpongeBob. Twitter and Vine. Oh my god, do y'all remember Vine? This is really nostalgic now. You're not broke, you're just pre-rich. When her ass is a 10, but she turns around and her face is a 3. Damn, son, the fuck? These? Wait, I'm like... Oh, actually, that's it. That's the end of the presentation. That's the end of it. Go back to Zatsu. While I close this one out. Yeah, so it looks like that presentation needs to be updated, right? How far we've fallen, we're at Skibidi Toilet. Yeah, but I also feel like... What else does that PowerPoint not PowerPoint. What else does that Google slide not cover? Deep fried memes? Do you guys remember deep fried memes? It doesn't go over the advent of TikTok, you know? Like, I should give it a fancy name like that. The advent of TikTok. I feel like there were other Vine memes right before it died too, right? Like, you were lesbian? I thought you were American. Do, 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 do. I think Vaporwave, could you consider that like a meme too? But yeah, that was a brief history of memes, y'all. Yeah, maybe one day I'll update that and we'll do like an actual presentation. The Matrix meme made me think that you could do movie analyzing watch-alongs, but I don't know how a chat would ever stay in sync. True. Yeah, true, because like usually with like watch-alongs, people just watch it straight through, right? With no pausing, because then you would have to like tell chat to pause. Well, I guess if there's like a timer, right? If there's like a timer in the corner, then it'd be like, oh, pause at like 30 minutes and 5 seconds. So maybe that is a good idea. There are things that I've been thinking about like doing watch-alongs for, but like it wouldn't necessarily be for analyzing. It would just be for like, I love this nostalgic thing, like, and I want you to know about it, like Digimon the movie and the banger American what's it called, soundtrack. Maybe you could stream it on Discord and control it from there. Oh, very true, very true. I could either do that, I don't know if Cliff Puncher, if you're in the Leaf tent, I've been playing around with the idea of having my own server, but I also don't know if I have enough, like, folks to, like, warrant one at the moment. But it's a thought. It's a thought that I've thought. But yeah. So those are all things that, future content, you know? You're in the Leaf tent and Randon Court. Oh yeah, Randon Court. I'm still kind of shy about like speaking up in the Randon Court, even though everyone there is very friendly, right? You got Huxley, you got Inochi Scarlet. They're all really friendly, but I'm just like, oh, I'm shy. But maybe. I don't think I've joined voice chat there yet. Oh yeah, they have voice chat 1, 2, Blockbuster chat. Okay. Okie dokie. Yeah, I feel my voice getting a little croaky, so I think it's about that time. But thanks everyone for tuning in for both the tarot card readings, but also for a little chat about memes, about teachers in history and whatnot. It's always a pleasure to chat with y'all. So usually Sundays are my break days. I will be back on Monday. Beans actually got me copium markers. He got me Copic markers for my birthday, so I actually want to try them out. So we're going to be doing some traditional art on Monday. I don't know what I'm doing after that. I don't know yet if I'm going to take Tuesday off. It's not confirmed yet. I might be doing a collab with some friends, which includes Beans. You guys get to hear Beans and Mega Bronson. Yeah, copium markers. Let's see. Relatable, I've only joined VC once and it was in Randon Cord. Yeah, they seem friendly. It's so large a community, it's very easy to meld into the whole. Yeah. Yeah, I got the copium markers. And thanks for the happy birthday. You were there for my birthday stream. Would you play Project Zomboid? Yeah. Like I said, I just gotta like play it and like find my way around it. But maybe not next week. What am I thinking for next week? I kind of thought Procession to Calvary would be a longer game. That was gonna be my game for next week, but we'll definitely do the copium markers. Collab, maybe next Friday. I don't have it. I could get it. It might either be Raft or Valheim. So it'll be a possible collab with me, Beans, Mega Bronson, and possibly Kiki Loading, also known as L. But yeah, other than that, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing yet. I just know that like once Thursday comes next week, I'm not gonna be in work mode at all. You'll throw it at me. What do you mean by that? Don't get it from me. Don't spend money on little old me. You've already done enough. You spent bits. So, but thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and go to my outro screen. Yeah, if you guys don't already have me on social media, and if you want updates on my schedule, I'll be posting it on my Twitter. It's there. Zomboid is cool because it's so rooted in early 90s Tennessee. Ah! I mean, Twitch gets half a bit of the money. Yeah, true. That's okay, though. But yeah, go ahead and follow my Twitter for updates on my schedule. My VODs are at YouTube. I have to upload my recent VODs, though. So let's see who is streaming right now. Pega Neko is streaming, but I also haven't rated into... Wait, what's Elle doing right now? Did she just start? Oh, she also went affiliate. Okay. No, wait, no, stop. Go back. Kentucky. Zombaroni is sent in Kentucky. Fried chicken? Oh yeah, remind me next time. I want to do like a American geography test live in front of everyone. I know the states, maybe. Knox County is in Tennessee. Ooh. Halbernacht? You can do that. Halbernacht. Oh, interesting. So now there's some some controversy with where Project Zomboid is set, huh? So, all right. Hopefully, you guys continue that conversation into. We're gonna raid Halbernacht. So thanks for the recommendation, Matthew, and then thanks everyone for joining in once again. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, you guys figure out where Knox County is. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording, and then we'll go ahead and raid. We'll raid. But thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening, morning, or afternoon. And as always, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.